As we descend into the abyssal depths of our oceans, we encounter a menagerie of bizarre and sometimes terrifying creatures. Today, we're going to meet one of the scariest, the viperfish. Living up to its fearsome name, it sports some of the longest, sharpest teeth in the sea. And it's not just its gnashers that make this fish so terrifying. These teeth protrude from its upper and lower jaws and resemble those of a swordfish or a sailor. They aren't just long, they're also incredibly sharp, making them perfect for piercing the skin of prey. The fish has a small, sleek body that can grow up to 45 centimeters or 18 inches in length. Although they are usually closer to 30 centimeters or 12 inches, their body is elongated and cylindrical, similar to an eel, and they have a pointed head and a large mouth filled with those terrifying teeth. Well, it turns out that despite living in such extreme conditions, the viperfish has been studied extensively by marine biologists. However, based on similar species, it's estimated that they live somewhere between 15 and 30 years. Well, the viperfish is a carnivorous fish that feeds on a variety of prey, including small fish, crustaceans, and other marine organisms. By controlling the amount of light emitted from the lure, the viperfish can attract unsuspecting prey. Once its meal is within striking distance, it strikes with lightning speed, using its long teeth to pierce the prey and its hinged jaw to clamp down and secure a firm grip. The viperfish may be a relatively small fish, but it is a fierce predator that is perfectly adapted to survive in one of the most extreme environments on Earth, the deep sea. If you did, please hit the like button and share this video with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe for more amazing videos about the underwater world. So next time you're watching a movie about deep-sea monsters, remember that there's a real-life viperfish lurking in the darkness of our oceans. It's proof that reality is often stranger than fiction. Its diet varies depending on its location and the availability of prey, but it's thought that they mostly feed on crustaceans, such as krill and decay. Their long teeth and hinged jaw allow them to trap and swallow their prey whole, even if it's larger than their head, and we have a pretty good understanding of its life cycle and behavior. To begin with, like many other fish, the viperfish reproduces by releasing eggs and sperm into the water in a process known as external fertilization. While the viperfish may not actively seek out humans as prey, it's certainly capable of biting if provoked. Ants' teeth are extremely sharp and could easily puncture human skin. However, it's unlikely that a viperfish would bite someone, unless it was handled or harassed, so as long as you don't mess with them, you should be fine. Although we do have to mention that a bite from this fish would definitely hurt and could cause bleeding. The eggs and sperm meet in the water column, and if healthy, they develop into an embryo. Once the embryo is ready to hatch, it emerges as a miniature version of an adult viper. The viperfish is not currently listed as an endangered species by the International Union for Conservation of Nature. However, they may be vulnerable to certain threats such as deep-sea trawling and ocean warming. Deep-sea trawling is a method of fishing that involves dragging a net along the seafloor. This practice can have a significant impact on deep-sea ecosystems, including the habitats of the viper. Ocean warming is another threat that could potentially affect the viper. As ocean temperatures rise, the distribution and abundance of the viperfish's prey could be altered, leading to food shortages and potential starvation. However, it's important to note that there is limited population data available for the viper, making it difficult to assess its conservation status accurately. More research is needed to fully understand the threats facing this species and to determine whether it should be classified as endangered or not. And these tiny fish are part of the plankton, the drifting community of organisms that float in the water column. The larval stage is a critical time for the viperfish. During this phase, they are extremely vulnerable to predators and must grow quickly to reach a size where they can defend themselves. Luckily, they're well equipped with those razor-sharp teeth almost immediately, and these chompers help them snatch small prey and defend against potential threats. After several months, the larvae reach sexual maturity and begin hunting larger prey. With their sharp teeth and glowing lure, they're well adapted for catching a variety of deep-sea prey. But don't be fooled by its seemingly simple appearance. The viperfish is a highly specialized predator that has evolved over millions of years to survive in one of the most extreme environments on Earth, the deep sea. But that's not all. The viperfish has a hinged jaw that allows it to clamp down on its prey. As we mentioned before, the viperfish is a deep-sea fish that lives at depths ranging from 200 to 4,400 meters. That's nearly half a mile below the surface. They prefer the mesopelagic and bathopelagic zones where sunlight cannot penetrate and darkness is the norm. These waters are cold and dark and the pressure is immense, but the viperfish thrives in these conditions. In fact, it wouldn't survive if it came too close to the surface. There's a phenomenon called the twilight zone, the depth at which light begins to fade and the sun's rays can no longer reach. This is where most animals that hunt during the day live, because there is still enough light for them to see. But the viperfish is a nocturnal hunter and doesn't need light to find prey. Anything unlucky enough to swim across its path is at risk, and a large throat that it can expand to swallow its food whole. Now, that's a mouthful. This little fish also has a glowing lure that it uses to tempt its prey. But what exactly is the viperfish? How do they live? What do they eat? And why are they such a fearsome predator? The viperfish is a relatively small yet very fierce predatory fish that can be found throughout the world. First things first, let's talk about their scientific name. As with most animals, their scientific name is different from their common name and helps us understand their evolutionary history. The viperfish has the scientific name Chaleodus sloani. You heard that right. This little fish has a glowing appendage that it uses to attract unsuspecting prey. But how does it work? Well, the lure is actually a modified dorsal fin spine that contains photophores, specialized cells that produce light through a chemical reaction. By controlling the amount of light emitted from the lure, the viperfish can mimic the movements of small fish or crustaceans, tempting its prey to come closer. Once within striking distance, the viperfish strikes with lightning speed, using its long teeth to pierce the prey and its hinged jaw to clamp down and secure a firm grip. It then swallows its meal whole, leaving nothing but a few scraps for the scavenger. The genus name Chaleodus comes from the Greek words chair, meaning hand, and otis meaning tooth, likely referring to its large and prominent teeth. Meanwhile, the species name sloani is named after Sir Hans Sloane, an Irish physician and collector of natural history specimens who lived in the 17th and 18th centuries. His collection included many specimens from the New World, including those related to As mentioned earlier, the viperfish is known for its extremely long and needle-like teeth, which can grow up to 6 centimeters or 2.5 inches in length. But perhaps even more fascinating than its gnashers is its bioluminescent lure. So what does the viperfish look like? If you've ever seen a fish that looks like an eel, then you've seen the viperfish. Speaking of the deep sea, where exactly do these fish live? Now, you might be wondering, how do we know so much about the viper? As for how long viperfish live, it's not entirely clear as there hasn't been much research done on them. Okay, so we know what they look like and where they live, but what do these fish eat? So how do they get their prey? Well, as we've already covered, the viperfish has a unique hunting strategy that involves its bioluminescent lure. Speaking of their teeth, you may be wondering, can viperfish bite humans? Now, you might be wondering, are viperfish endangered? The short answer is no. Well, there you have it. Thanks for watching. We hope you learned something new and exciting about the viperfish.